Damaged by Please Dial 123, Chapter 5, Enter Kimimaru. Kimimaru tilted his head slightly as he looked at his reflection in the water. Defeated, alone, eyes stared back. He raised his head to look over the still pond when something caught his eye. A flower. It was small, silver, and alone. He stepped over it to examine it softly. It was alone like him. Was he like this flower? It was the same color as his hair. It was alone, and it was weak. He glared at nothing. How he hated being weak. He went to stab the flower with a bone knife when a small hand caught his wrist. He stared in stunned surprise at the small figure in front of him. The boy had to be at least 2 years younger than him. He had limp blonde hair, an ice blue eye, and an eye patch, wearing an odd outfit. He gave Kiyomaru a blank look. Leave it be. It won't live long anyways. Kiyomaru swallowed and allowed the bone to sink into his hand. He gazed at the boy with respect. He could see it. He could see the strength in his eyes. He could see the pain the boy was put through and the strength he used to get through it. He could see the power in the boy. What's your name? The boy asked. Kaguya Kimimaru, he breathed. I heard the Kaguya were all slaughtered. I survived. The boy reached up and stroked his pale cheek slightly. Kiyomaru instantly melted. No one had ever showed him a kind touch or asked for his name. He leaned into the hand. Both hands held his pale cheeks and forced him to look down into one lone blue eye. How would you like to stay with me, Kimimaru? Kiyomaru fell to his knees and stared up the foot distant into the boy's eye. You would let me, he begged. He wanted to go with the boy who had showed him kindness. He'd do anything for the boy with the kind touch. He didn't want it to be a dream. He didn't want the boy to leave him alone again. Yes, do you wish to? Please, he breathed. I'll do anything for you. He knew it was sad his loyalty could be bought so easily with just a kind word and touch, but he had never had either. The boy just smiled slightly, only a slight upturning of his lips. Really? Stand up, Kiyomaru. You aren't my servant. I'll do anything, he repeated. Just let me stay with you. The boy just smiled. Kiyomaru closed his eyes as he felt the hand stroke his hair. Even though he could see he was older, as he looked up at the boy, he felt like a child in front of an elder. His suffering wasn't even close to this boy's. What is your name? He asked eyes downcast. Naruto. Uzumaki Naruto, came the soft reply. Suddenly the boy whistled. A huge white tiger strode from the tree, gently paddling across the grass. Kiyomaru didn't even flinch. He trusted the boy. He didn't know why, just felt he could be trusted. Besides, if the boy killed him, at least he would escape the cruel world. The boy just gently tugged him till he was standing. Then the boy moved to the tiger and slid onto its back. Kiyomaru wondered if he was to run beside it. He would, though. Then the boy held out a hand. Come on, Kimimaru. Kiyomaru took an unhesitated step towards the tiger and grasped the hand. Yes, Naruto-sama, he breathed. The boy opened his mouth at the title, then shut it, a smirk settling on his lips. Then Kiyomaru was dragged up on the white beast, behind his master. Naruto held the outfit up for Kiyomaru to see. The 15-year-old boy looked at it before looking at him. Do you like it? Yes, Naruto said. I'll take it then. Naruto just watched the boy. He was loyal, very loyal. They had only known one another a week and the kid was ready to die for him. Is that how I would have been? Willing to do anything for some kindness, some attention? He shook the thought off and paid for the outfit before shoving Kiyomaru into a changing room. When the Kaguya stepped out, he wore a deep blue kimono over a fishnet shirt and some black pants. He also wore black ninja sandals and two black ties holding the large piece of hair. And two black ties holding the longer pieces of hair. Naruto nodded and headed for the door. The boy instantly followed like a puppy. Naruto spun into the group of people, spear flashing and blood flying. The air was split into screams and yells. By the time Naruto stopped moving, he was slick with blood and had killed at least 20 men. Kimimaru beside him had killed about the same amount and was also dripping in the red liquid. The boy still wore that expressionless look, and Harry could sense no bloodlust from him. That's what made him different from the others of the Kaguya. Every ninja that had seen them fight or fought them said that even a civilian would be able to sense their blood and battle lust. Many called it their curse, as it was like a madness. Kimaru seemed not to have inherited it. The boy calmly let his bone sword sink into his arm and looked back at Naruto to make sure he wasn't hurt. Then he pulled an arrow from his leg. It was the only thing that would have hit Naruto. As he leapt into the fray, and Kimaru had taken it for him. The boy was loyal, that was for sure, never questioned him, just did as he was told. Naruto did not regret taking him in. Where are we, Naruto-sama? Kimaru asked. Coral, Naruto answered. Coral was a very large city. It wasn't the nicest though. It was also on the coast. It had pirates, thieves, rogue ninja, bandits, gamblers, prostitutes, and a huge number of shady people. If you didn't know your way around or you weren't very strong, you would find yourself robbed and dead. Very wealthy people also went there with guards, of course. If you wanted something, it was here. It was pretty much one large black market. Naruto just found it interesting. And what are we doing here? Kimura asked. Sightseeing, relaxing, browsing, Naruto said absently. He had sent Akira back to the forest and sealed his spear in a scroll. Laughing dangerously could attract battle junkies and bring attention to himself. At the moment, he looked like a rich kid with a guard. He had changed into an ice blue silk yukata along with soft slippers and a black eye patch with silver lining. He didn't have a lot of money, so it wasn't completely an act. Kiyomaru just wore the clothes he usually did. If it looked like two rich kids with no guards, it would draw a lot of attention. Also, Kiyomaru just did whatever Naruto asked. So, we were just visiting? The boy asked, confused. I guess you could say that. Naruto slid his hands into his sleeves and glided down the road, Kiyomaru following respectfully behind. Naruto kept his face utterly blank, even as the woman pushed against him. She was wearing a very little clothes, showing her ample chest, her pale skin, and her curves. Her long black hair was wrapped in a knot, and she purred into his ear as she pressed against his chest, hanging from his neck. How about some fun, cutie? She cooed. Kiyomaru, off to the side, looked confused on what he was to do, like he didn't know if Naruto would like the company or not. Naruto calmly looked down at the woman with his one blue eye, and she cringed back, quickly letting go and stumbling off. Kiyomaru just watched calmly. Please keep them off of me, Naruto said simply. Kiyomaru gave a nod. He paused as if unsure. You do not like women? Naruto was partly surprised by the question. The boy rarely asked questions, and never any personally. I like women and men the same. I just dislike whores. Kiyomaru gave a slight nod and didn't question him anymore. Naruto noticed Kiyomaru's eyes on him as soon as he entered the hot springs. The white-haired boy already sat in the hot water waiting for him. The spring was empty besides them as it was quite late. Naruto just shed his towel and slid into the water. He sank into the water and let a sigh out as his tense muscles relaxed just slightly. A moment later, two hands started to massage his shoulders and he let out a dull moan. He allowed Kiyomaru to continue and felt his muscles slowly relax. Thank you, Kiyomaru, he said simply as the boy continued. I'll do anything you need, Naruto-sama. Pure loyalty. Anything. Naruto quirked his lips in a half-frown, half-smile, and just relaxed. It was nice to have someone so dedicated to him, someone who would protect him, travel with him, agree with him, watch out for him. Naruto idly shrugged off the thief who had been threatening him. Before the man could slit his throat, Kiyomaru appeared behind him, slamming his own knife in the man's back. The man gurgled before he fell in a heap, clawing at the knife sticking out the front of his chest by an inch. As the man died, Kiyomaru pulled the knife out and wiped it on the man's clothing before swiping all his weapons and valuables. Naruto gave Kiyomaru a brief nod of his head and then slid his sleeve up his arm so he could see his submarine tattoo. He searched along the seals until he found the one he wanted. He swiped some blood over it, and in a puff of smoke, Akira appeared. Naruto repeated the process, and a large dark gray wolf appeared, only half the size of Akira, but still large and powerful. Akira purred under his hand, and the wolf nuzzled Kiyomaru. His animals had slowly gotten used to the pale boy, and this specific wolf had taken a liking to him. Naruto jumped onto Akira's back, while Kiyomaru slid onto the wolf's back. We're heading east, Naruto announced. I need to return to Konoha in 7 months, and I have a few places I wish to see before then. Kiyomaru just bowed his head, and the two animals took off quickly in the eastern direction. End of chapter 5. Damaged by Please Dial 123, Chapter 6, Sickness. Naruto gripped the boy's shoulder as he gently lowered him to the ground. Kiyomaru started coughing violently again, clearing up as he did so. Foolish boy, why didn't you tell me you were sick? He asked. I didn't want to bother you, Naruto-sama, the boy choked out before falling unconscious. Naruto sighed and summoned Akira. He dragged Kiyomaru onto the tiger's back gently and held onto him as the tiger leapt off towards the closest town. I'm sorry, but I cannot cure this, the doctor said remorsefully. Naruto furrowed his brows. The sickness could be a large amount of things: being poisoned when young, an unknown lung disease, a disease in the blood, something in his bones, or even something inherited. I cannot tell. Maybe a ninja medic could heal him, but I'm just a normal doctor. Naruto gave a brief nod. I would recommend that he does not tax himself often. He's sick enough that too much energy spent and he could die. He doesn't look good though. I say he has a year. Naruto narrowed his eyes in thought until he saw Kiyomaru coming from the hospital room, ignoring the nurse trying to beg him to lie back down. He was pulling on his shirt as he reached him. He coughed weakly and collapsed on his knees so he could lay his head on his folded arms on Naruto's lap. Don't leave me, Naruto-sama. I can still be useful. I can still serve you. The doctor held the nurse back, watching in interest and concern. Naruto stroked the boy's white hair. Do not worry, Kimaru. I will not leave you. The boy relaxed into his legs, breathing deeply, and instantly fell asleep. Naruto stood and picked the sleeping boy up again, setting him gently on Akira, who had actually come right into the hospital with him. No one had tried to stop him after he had growled at them. The doctor watched as Naruto slid on behind the boy. I'll go find a medic, ninja, he said simply. Treat the boy right. Not often does one see such loyalty, the doctor said seriously. Naruto just smirked and nudged Akira out the door, ducking as they stepped through. The medic nin let his hands go limp as he wiped sweat from his brow. He turned to Naruto, leaving the unconscious Kiyomaru on the examining table. Look, kid, I'm a pretty good medic, but I can't tell what's wrong. Sorry. Naruto just nodded in irritation, sliding Kiyomaru onto Akira's back again. Seems he would have to go with his last choice. Come, Akira, we have a son to seek out. Naruto strode into the bar with Akira behind him, ducking under the door to enter. As soon as he did so, most of the bar froze in shock and fear. Many people quickly paid and left through another door. Only the drunk and not so afraid stayed. Naruto walked right up to a blonde woman and her assistant, sending the incoming barkeeper a glare, making the man back off. The woman looked up at him calmly, analyzing him as the brown-haired woman tightened her hold on a pet pig, gazing unlazingly at Akira. His tiger seemed amused about her reaction and purposely stood right next to her. The pig burrowed into her shirt, shaking. Tsunade took a sip of her drink and looked him in the eye. What can I do for you? She asked. Naruto motioned to Kiyomaru on Akira's back. As the boy was wearing white, he blended in well with the fur. Tsunade looked at the sleeping boy and raised a brow. No one knows what he's sick with, but it's killing him. She perked up at the no one knows. She probably, like any medic nin, would accept a medical challenge. You want me to heal him? She stated. I can pay well. Slowly she stood and moved to the tiger. She then lifted Kiyomaru's head so she could look at his face. She gasped as she recognized the lining around his eyes and the dots that showed he was a Kaguya. I heard they all had died, she said. He is the last, Naruto said simply. She looked at him sideways. You aren't from the mist, are you? It was suspicious. He quirked his lips. No, I am not really from any hidden village, as I have never graduated from the academy. It was true. He hadn't yet graduated. Fine. Follow us to a hospital. Tsunade said, evenly, gently letting Kiyomaru's head go. Naruto slid the boy off the tiger into his rooms and dismissed him. I haven't heard of a tiger contract before, Shishune said shakingly. Naruto shrugged and followed Tsunade and the girl out the door. Tsunade stepped from the room, eyes glowing, a smirk on her lips as she started to write down on a clipboard immediately. It's amazing, she breathed. Naruto raised a brow and coughed politely. How is he? He asked. Oh, he'll live, she said absently. She smirked again and continued to write notes. Naruto raised a brow. Her assistant Shizune stepped from the room next looking tired. She saw Tsunade smirking over notes and looked to Naruto. The disease was nothing more than his own chakra and bloodline feeding off his own body. He's very strong. His bloodline is advanced beyond even the last prodigy of their clan. He can literally do anything with his bones. Usually there should be a restriction on what he can do with his bones, how large he can make them, how many he can move, and how many he can pull out, because if he removed or moved too many, he would of course be missing many in his structure. His structure would weaken and some areas would have no bones, but he seems to be able to instantly grow more bones like super advanced healing. It is unheard of and absolutely awe-inspiring, she breathed. No, the only drawback was to so often using his bones, move his bones, grow bones, and change his bones. He was using a lot of energy. Bloodlines do use chakra, but not as much as one would think. They actually are a natural thing and just use your own strength and energy. But as his was so powerful, it was slowly eating his body to work. And as he can't deactivate his specific bloodline, it was slowly destroying him. Naruto nodded curtly, deep in thought as he pondered things. So, how did you fix it? We didn't. Naruto raised a brow. We just healed his body to the peak. He'll slowly wear it out again, though. I believe his bloodline grew only a few years ago, as it takes time to wear a body down to this degree. So while he was growing in strength with his bloodline, he was wearing his body out. We'll have to have frequent visits with Medicnin now, though. All they need to do is heal his body again. It appears the bloodline starts to take energy from lungs first, then his muscle, making him have weaker lungs and get exhausted easier. Simple things from a medic to heal, luckily. He also needs to eat healthily and take as many vitamins as he can. He should be fine otherwise, though. Naruto nodded, running a few things through his head. Then he glanced to Tsunade. She was busy poring over notes. He stood finally and moved to the room. He entered to find Kiyomaru lying on the bed, breathing evenly, but awake. He looked up to Naruto. Naruto moved to the bed and sat down on the edge, reaching out to stroke Kiyomaru's hair. The boy closed his eyes and leaned in into the touch. "How do you feel?" he asked. "Fine," came the curt reply. There was a moment of silence. "I'm sorry, Naruto-sama," Kiyomaru finally whispered. "I'm causing you to delay your trip, and I've been a burden. I heard them say I would need to visit the doctor often, and I know who that woman is. This must cost a lot." Naruto stroked the boy's hair softly. "I have little need for money, so I'd better wait to use it than on a loyal companion." The boy just looked out the window. "I'm sorry." Naruto allowed him to apologize. Tsunade ruffled up Kiyomaru's hair, smirking. Kiyomaru let her do so with an emotionless look. "You be good, kid," Kiyomaru scoffed at her. Naruto then stepped forwards and held out a briefcase. "Your payment isn't there." The blonde's eyes lit up as she took it. She opened it and her jaw dropped. Even Kiyomaru's eye widened. "Holy crap, kid, where did you get this?" she asked. Naruto shrugged absently. "While you were working on Kiyomaru, I got bored and decided to try my luck at gambling. I won the jackpot." The woman choked on her spit and snapped the case shut, gently putting it in Tsunade's hands. "Good doing business with you," she said with a grin/smirk. Naruto gave a curt nod. "I never did get your name, though, brat," she said. Naruto just smirked, and then Akira was beside them and they were on his back. He sent the woman a mock salute before they were off, her shots fading behind them. End of chapter 6.